Okay, this will be a description of an upgrade to the Boundweave editor for Quickdraw version 5.9. Now, this is the original Boundweave editor, and it turns out it was actually a fairly rigid implementation of a Krokbragd editor, which would handle either 3-shaft, 3-treadle, or 5-shaft, 5-treadle Krokbragd patterns, or double Krokbragd in this case. What I've added is the ability to add more shafts, staying with a smaller treadling so that it then would modify the tie-up to do that, create a quick test pattern. And I will set that up if I ask for a 3-shaft, 3-treadle pattern. And from there I'm just going to go straight to the Boundweave editor. So it's actually created the little pattern, filled in a simple tie-up, and that's fairly straightforward. And then I'm actually going to create another little pattern. In this case, let me do a 12-shaft, 3-treadle pattern. And now when I go to the Boundweave editor, it's actually set up 12 shafts on 3 treadles. So now what I can actually do is weave a simple Krokbragd on 12 shafts, or any multiple of 4 effectively. So if I look at on the 3x3, if I add a simple pattern, it's just going to give me that little variation. And if I do the same thing here, let me zoom in with the mouse. So I get that same thing, and you'll notice it's only using 4 of those 12 shafts. So if I actually select the sawtooth tool here and fill that in, I can actually weave that 3-treadle Krokbragd on 12 shafts. I could go all the way to 32 shafts, so that I can do the Krokbragd on a larger pattern. The threading and tie-up has changed, but the resultant pattern is the same. This is a little flatter because we've got a lot of shafts on it. Okay, let me look at that same thing in a double Krokbragd. These are 2 new patterns I created, just new. The one on the left here was created as a 5-shaft, 5-treadle pattern. The one on the right here was created as an 8-shaft, 5-treadle pattern. And you'll notice they set up, the threading and tie-up are significantly different. And I go through and add those threads. So when I go through and do the same thing to this pattern, when I click those guys, it works the same way, and I get the same double Krokbragd product. So that tells me how those 2 work. Now, if I want to modify the tie-up or the threading sequence here, when I edit the treadling, I actually now have an ability of changing that tie-up, which normally when I'm not editing the treadling, that would just show me the static display, as well as I can change the treadling by clicking in the treadling section and move that so that I can get the sequence anything I want. I can change the tie-up. Now, the one trick that you don't have completely control here, in order for the Krokbragd to work, when I click that box, the software is going to figure out what shaft it's on, look at the tie-up. It's going to look at what shot needs to be that color to achieve that. In order to do that, each shaft needs to be connected to one treadle, and one treadle can be connected to multiple shafts. So each shaft has to be connected to exactly one. If it's multiple, it's going to not know what to do. If it's not connected, it's not going to know. So when I exit the edit treadling backs, it will actually clean that up. Say, for example, if I make a mistake, that top row wouldn't have it. When I go back and end the treadling, it's actually going to change that so that it has something. It's not what I wanted, but it has corrected something so that it knows what to do. So you need to be a little bit careful, and you have control of the tie-up, but within those limitations. Now let me do one other totally crazy thing here. If I look at a pattern, let me just create a 16-shaft pattern, go straight to the Boundweave editor. It's actually going to create a shell. I would have to go through and modify that tie-up treadling sequence if I wanted to do anything more, as well as adding whatever treadling I want, and then I've got the matrix. And it would then work the same way. Now, whether you can actually do a 16-shaft pattern, somehow I think that's going to be a little too bulky, but the software gives you the tools to do that. It'll go up to 32 shafts, at which point it's going to be real hard to see, but the basic capability is there if you want to play and explore. So that gives me an overall discussion of the new capabilities of the Boundweave editor.